The third path. We all face that ultimate journey. Some choose freely, of sound mind, to define the dignity with which they will face their final moment. Many lose choice to the hands of others, be it well-intentioned family, doctors, or even hospitals. My mother had lost her ability to make those choices, submerged in the abyss of Alzheimer's. During the last 2 years of her life, she endured a hip replacement, a mastectomy, a fractured spine while being revived from congestive heart failure, and a broken wrist. Her question always to me, "Why am I here?" The DNR still remained posted on the refrigerator. The second break. Caregivers brought them to the day room. A welcoming place it was, a warm fireplace on one side, full glassed wall on the other. Chairs gathered, mixed with wheelchairs, most seats occupied by other lost souls waiting for their time. Mother sat in her wheelchair, quietly accepting, not understanding, slipped gently down, touching ground, not a fall really, but a slide, fracturing fragile bones once again. They raised her back into the wheelchair. No blood, no reason for the fall. Pain remained in the wrist. They looked to the hospital across the street, no farther than wheeling her back to her room. The call made. She could see the ambulance as it pulled from the hospital, rushed across the street to the place to put her in, take her to that terrifying room, emergency, where she had been so often. I arrived, found her, calmed her. "Why am I here?" Eyes showed her confusion, her terror, as they checked, wrapped fragile bones. Not the right time for the second cast. The first still held firm on her left wrist, but too soon for the second. White gauze wrapped repeatedly around the wrist as she watched with fear. "Be sure to keep arm elevated," they told her. She looked to me. Eyes showed her confusion. The ambulance took her back across the street, back into her wheelchair. The wrapping frightened her. She removed it again and again, as aides wrapped again and again. The cast must be put on. Hand blackened, fingers swollen, must be elevated. But she did not understand. Hand tied up to keep her from resting arm by her side. Matching casts. One green for the Irish in her, one blue for the blue of her eyes. She did not understand. I do not understand. I cannot imagine giving over my power to others, yet that time, too, may come for me. I believe we must be the ones to make such a critical decision, to know now where we want the path to take us, and to share our wishes with those we love. My dear husband, who gave me his support through all the years of our marriage, and through the difficult times my parents faced, has since followed his own path. Who he was defined how he chose his path. Gentleman. I don't know who first created the word gentleman, but I had long thought that someone, at some point in time, had inadvertently smashed two words together, with the subsequent erosion of its true meaning, smothered in images of doffing hats, doors opened, and Sir Walter Raleigh capes thrown over puddles. The true gentleman had vanished. My beliefs were reaffirmed when a truly gentle man appeared in my life, restoring the separation of two prime words. A gentleman in the modern sense, but more purely he was a gentle man, simple in his complexity, firm in his kindness, eternal in his patience. He was a thoughtful man, harder on himself than on me in times of intense stress, always seeking to please, support, and love, always ready to cheer me on in my other earthly passions, whether verse or song, or the relentless game of cards. He, more than anyone, kept me grounded. He, more than anyone, allowed my laughter to bubble out, letting us both experience the dance of joy. He, more than anyone, valued me as I am, with easy acceptance that my drums took me across the freeways as he cared for home and cat. Illness snatched him too soon from his peaceful home, amid roses and trees, all that gave him joy to nurture, yet he faced death with a dignity and grace as his body withered. Hospice gave support to us as he walked down his chosen path. Even in his final hours, his gentle spirit found great relief in knowing daughter and grandchildren would join forces with me to make all our lives easier on his passing. And he passed quietly, peacefully, repeating the words, "A happy ending." He had chosen. He was, and always will be, the ultimate gentle man. The sound of empty saturates all the corners of the home we shared. The Joy Girls. 3 little girls shared that last name, Joy. Yet it was more than a name. It was a way of being, living, caring that has stayed with each of us through long years of devotion to family and community. Our middle sister, Barbara, became an icon of the city of Davis, shaping the lives of so many in her commitment to teaching the little ones at Fairfield School. She was more than a teacher. She was an inspiration and mentor to child and parent alike. Her manner of passing should equally be an inspiration and mentor us all as to how we face death. Diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in February of this year, she gathered with family and made her choices clear. We sisters met, and she wanted us to share books from her teaching in our little free library. She wanted each of us to take something to remember. She was flooded with visits from community and lived to celebrate her birthday on March 19th. She passed peacefully at home on March 30th, 2016, with her husband and children there. A peaceful passing. Soft white feathers. Soft white feathers placed gently in a jar. Each has a special meaning, telling who we are. We all have prized possessions, a story in each one, with memories we treasure when the work of life is done. A panda bear with one eye, a broken pair of skates, a sapphire ring from mother, hand-painted china plates, soft white feathers placed gently in a jar. Each has a special meaning, telling who we are. Each marks a magic moment that passed so swiftly by, catching tears and laughter. We saved them, you and I. A book of family pictures, an old clock on the wall, a stringless antique fiddle. We save them all. I add a small green feather to my feather jar. Will I still know who sent it when time has flown too far? So many feathers placed gently in a jar. Each one has a story telling who we are.